white people blame us for their problems. Let me give you a prime example. I'm in Roseburg, Oregon, right? You got a bunch of white meth addicts. They can't stop doing meth. They love meth. Meth is like water to them. And they blame black people for that. I hired a farmhand who was a guy, she identifies as a white guy, but he's fucking Hispanic. And he's sitting there talking about how, well, I used to have problems with black people because we used to blame them for their problems. You're blaming us for your problems. They are so used to us being slaves. They are so used to us cleaning their fucking houses, taking care of their goddamn kids, tending to their fucking fields, to the point where they cannot function on their own. Many of them, they're like children, like stupid, meth addict, inbred children. So I want you to understand something, right? Some of the animosity that you're seeing, like in places like Roseburg, Oregon, very, very white town, it's because they can't stop doing meth. They can't stop banging their fucking sister. So they want to blame you for it, for their own bullshit meth fueled actions.
Apparently there's some confusion about birthright citizenship. So much confusion that President Trump has had to chime in. And so I just want to be honest. Birthright citizenship exists because of me. African Americans, descendants of former slaves. That's what it was for. It guaranteed African Americans citizenship in a country that had never acknowledged them as citizens or even more than 3/5 of a person. That's what it was for. It was not designed for an immigrant to hop over the fence and have a baby, and hey, that baby gets American citizenship. Wrong. It wasn't designed for rich immigrants to come over here and buy their citizenship by having babies.
The thing I love about some of these videos is the MAGA people that are making these apology videos for voting for this administration. This one is funny. It's quick. She's like, I just won't say I'm sorry. I have to vote for him.
I need to say I'm sorry. I voted for him.
I'm real sorry. I didn't know. I thought he was going to make things better for us.
I thought he was going to help folks like me. I really did.
Now I'm starting to go. I came back my groceries. I can't put my lights on. First of all, the groceries you shouldn't worry about. Anyway, I just can't believe it now.
They cut off my heat and help last week. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy groceries next month to keep the lights on.
Now, what about my diabetes? My diabetes, man, is acting up. Can't feel my foot, can't feel my feet, and I didn't even devour the do.
Now my SNAP's gone, my Medicaid's gone.
Get out of here. This is what you voted for. You voted because you thought black people were going to get f***ed, didn't you? Black folks, especially black Americans, have been living with nothing for the longest time.
Okay, I want to take a moment to say thank you to Donald Trump, not out of praise, but out of truth. Because while you rip through every part of this government, tearing down justice, equality, and fairness under the fake excuse of fighting DEI fraud, what you're really doing is confirming what black folks have been saying for generations. America was built on racism, fueled by fear and sustained by white supremacy. You've exposed it all. The masks are off. The polite racism, the fake allyship, the colorblind lies, it's all gone. Now we see it raw and unfiltered. You're not just targeting policy, you're targeting people. Black people, brown people, marginalized communities. And the wild part, we make up the smallest portion of this country, yet somehow we are the biggest threat to the lie that white supremacy built. That should tell you everything. You're afraid not of violence, not of replacement, but of the power we hold even when we have nothing. You see the way our culture, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence continues to shape this country, even when it tries to erase us. Donald Trump is just the loudest version of a system that's always been in place. He is the living, breathing proof that this country was never designed with us in mind. And yet, we continue to define it. So thank you, Donald, for exposing what so many tried to deny, for showing the world that the fear of black greatness is real, for proving that racism isn't in our imagination, it's in the fabric of this nation. And to my people, we don't have to fight to prove our worth. He's doing that for us. All we have to do is stand firm, stay awake, and know that the truth is finally louder than the lie. We are not broken. We are not the problem. We are the evidence of the power that this country can contain. Let that truth ring louder than his hate.
Black Americans, we must never forget the era of the felon-in-chief, MAGA, and the Republicans. How the felon-in-chief made white people feel very comfortable in expressing their racism blatantly. And in fact, because of crowdfunding platforms like GoFundMe, many of them who have been censured by the public, like losing their jobs in their positions because of their racism, they know they can run over to these platforms and raise thousands of dollars, more money than they probably ever had before. That's what happened in the case of that racist white woman that worked at Cinnabon that was so racist to that Somali, calling them nigger and stating that she was racist. Yeah, she ran right over to GoFundMe and now has raised $75,000, probably even more at the time of this recording. The same with that white woman in the park that called that black child a chimpanzee. And racists set up a crowdfunding campaign for her and raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for her. But mark my words, the felon in chief won't be in power forever. And I know it already has felt like 1,000 years, but he won't, y'all. The Republicans won't be in power forever. I don't know what the United States of America will look like once their time ends, but I do know this, that they are already realizing that they have hitched their fortunes to a now sinking ship. And so you're going to see more of these racist MAGA Republicans try to rebrand, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I personally believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene has her eyes set on the presidency. And so she is trying to rebrand herself as a more sympathetic, compassionate, racist, and bigot. And she will not be alone. Now, in terms of the general public, many, not all, of course, but many white Americans who have become so comfortable with being blatantly racist, showing who they really are, they're going to try to put the mask back on. All of these companies, when it is no longer profitable for them to be as racist as they have always been, the same companies that 5 years ago pledged support to the Black American community because of the Black Lives Matter movement that ignited over the lynching of George Floyd, almost every last one of those companies has reneged on those promises, which many of we Black Americans saw that coming. That's not a shock. But when it is no longer profitable for them to eliminate DEI and fire Black American employees, they're going to go on a PR campaign to rehabilitate their image unlike you've ever seen. Don't forget. Don't let anyone forget. Don't forget how trees in this country still bear strange fruit. Do not forget how police brutality continues in our communities. Do not forget all of the blatant racism that has been expressed towards us. Let's not forget those who stood with white supremacy, thinking that somehow proximity would get them grandfathered in. We, as we move forward, Black Americans, must never forget. And even whenever this era is over, and all of a sudden, everyone tries to claim that they are allies and supporters of the Black American community, because I know it doesn't seem like it, but that time is going to come sooner or later. We must never forget.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So I'm just going to do a recap for everyone, just so that we're all on the same page, okay? Just follow along with me and see if we can establish a pattern. We had a white male recently, if not today or yesterday, pop 2 migrants, okay? Before then, we had a white male at a white college in a predominantly white state pop a white male, Charlie Kirk, okay? Before that, we had at the same day, we had a white male do a school pop. Before that, we had a white male pop three officers, that's correct, pop 3 officers. Before that, there was a white male that threatened an HBCU. I think that's what we have so far. So if you guys have an IQ above room temperature and you're following the pattern that I just showed to you, we all know what the problem is. You ready? We're going to say it all at the same time. All right? You ready? The problem is black people. That's correct. That's right. That's right. Oh, wait, what? I feel like you guys didn't say black people. Yeah, the problem is black on black crime. That's what you need to understand. I don't know what, it sounded like you guys were being racist and were saying white males or something like that. No, the problem is black on black crime. That's what, the pattern that I just showed you, that's what that clearly shows is the problem. Black on black crime. So, as I've said before, one of the traits of the lineage of evil is to take no accountability. None whatsoever. Because there is a clear problem that we need to be addressing, and they want to blame black people. They want to antagonize black people. They want to blame everyone, but who's at fault? They want to get trans, they want to get illegals, they want to get black people. That's what seems to be going on. And you had a group of white youth, MAGAs, with their MAGA hats and everything, who had a bright idea. And you want to know what their bright idea was to go to an HBCU uninvited and to antagonize the people there. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I may not agree with some of the other commentators who'll probably do a video on this because I understand why they went there, okay? It's clear as day, all right? If you have an IQ above room temperature, you obviously know why these white kids went to the HBCU. It's the only place that they feel safe. Damn. And we're gonna be honest. You know their mother probably told them to go to an HBCU. Like, we're going to be honest, their mom either told them to go to that school or she was relieved upon hearing which school they were going to. Hey, Mom, we're going to wear our MAGA hats and we have, like, signs for people to debate us. We're going to go to a school and we're going to do, like, uphold what Charlie Kirk was doing. What school are you going to? I want you guys to be safe, okay? I want you guys to be safe. What school are you going to? Oh, don't worry about it, Mom. We're going to go to an HBCU. Yeah, we're going to go to an HBCU. Yeah, a lot of black people there. Okay, you mean with the niggers? Oh, yes, absolutely. You should go there. Okay, I thought you were going to go to one of those other schools with the white kids. No, go to the blacks. You'll feel safe there. You'll be okay. You don't have to worry about any school shootings. You'll be safe there, okay? All right, you call me, all right? You call me. Like, you know and I know that's probably how that conversation went, right? Like, she probably recommended them going there for out of safety, okay?
One thing I love about some of these videos is the MAGA people that are making these apology videos for voting for this administration. This one is funny. It's quick. She's like, I just won't say I'm sorry. I have to vote for him.
I need to say I'm sorry. I voted for him.
I'm real sorry. I didn't know. I thought he was going to make things better for us.
I thought he was going to help folks like me. I really did.
Now my staff gone. I came back my groceries. I can't put my lights on. First of all, the groceries you shouldn't worry about. Anyway, I just can't believe it now.
They cut off my heat and help last week. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy groceries next month to keep the lights on.
Now, what about my diabetes? My diabetes, man, is acting up. Can't feel my foot, can't feel my feet, and I didn't even do.
Now my SNAP's gone, my Medicaid's gone.
Get out of here. This is what you voted for. You voted because you thought black people were going to get f***ed, didn't you? Black folks, especially black Americans, have been living with nothing for the longest time. So surviving is very, very easy. Very easy. You understand? That's why black folks are playing it smart. We're moving as a unit. You know, other than some of the sellout but other than that, black people are moving in a way where we're not even being bothered. Oh my God. Oh my God, the country's in shambles. Oh, they're being unfair. Black folks are like, yo, man, I'm going to Costco. What you about to do? So, hey, man, it is what it is. You voted for your own demise, and that's just the way it goes.
Isn't it interesting that the same exact people who were saying that the left is violent because of what happened to Charlie Kirk are the same people who are enacting violent threats and calling in violent threats to HBCUs around the country? HBCUs are under lockdown right now because the same people who claimed empathy and are having a fit about Charlie Kirk when he made his own bed, made his own statements, the same people who are having a fit about Charlie Kirk are the same people who are enacting violence against students that were not even at the college. You see how that works? These same people who loved Charlie Kirk and all of his rhetoric demonizing the black community are the same people who are now terrorizing historically black colleges and universities because they're mad that their deity is gone. Those children were not at that college in Utah. Those children were not the ones who ended Kirk's life. You know who the FBI is looking for? Someone who they believe may be a disgruntled veteran. The same exact demographic that I told you guys months ago that it was not a good idea to piss off by taking away their health care and their mental health care. And yet these people who have a white-on-white crime problem, who had a mass pew-pewing the same exact day, who had a mass pew-pewing just 2 weeks ago, also by someone of their demographic, got the nerve to come over and start bothering black people again, when once again, we did not do this to you. You are doing this to yourself, and you got the nerve to try to terrorize our children and our college campuses because you're mad that someone who created this environment of hate and the lack of sympathy and the lack of empathy, who has sown this seed and who has cheered on the policies that are hurting millions and millions of people. You're mad that someone returned the karma that he has spewed back onto him. Then be mad about it and look within your own communities for vengeance. Because black people, as usual, are minding our fucking business. Stay away from our children.
There is absolutely nothing that MAGA folks won't blame on people of color. Not because folks of color are actually to blame for any of those things, but because it's all MAGA knows. If you're out of work, must be because an immigrant of color or a black person took your job. If your taxes are too high, it must be because of welfare payments going to those people. Never mind the contradiction of saying that they take all the jobs, but also take none of the jobs because they're too busy relying on welfare rather than working. It can't be both, guys. You got to pick a lane, right? Kid didn't get into the college you wanted? Well, must be because a person of color got preferential treatment and stole their slot, even though the Supreme Court has essentially ended race-based affirmative action. You can't afford a home? Well, it must be because immigrants are taking all the homes and driving up the cost. Forget for a minute that they're also the ones building most of the homes, thereby driving down the cost, but, whatever. Scared of crime? Well, it must be because black and brown folks and migrants are making the cities unsafe. Forget for a minute that crime has actually dropped, even as immigration has gone up, and immigrants have lower crime rates than American citizens, but, whatever. When the pandemic hit, oh yeah, that was the fault of Asians, people of color, and their open air markets. When a door flew off a plane a couple years ago, Elon blamed it on a DEI program for pilots. And when a barge brought down a bridge in Baltimore, the right blamed it on the DEI mayor, which is just their new word for the N-word. To MAGA, white folks are never to blame for anything. Black and brown folks are to blame for everything. Why? Because MAGA is a racist cult. If your answer for every problem in America is people of color, you're a racist by definition. If your answer is Jews, you're a Nazi. And in either case, you deserve to be crushed utterly and without pity or mercy.
MAGA voters blame black Americans. So this time around, they really eat hard. So in my own opinion, one of the biggest mistakes we can make during difficult times is blaming an entire group of people for problems that are much bigger than any one community. So when the economic struggles, when job disappears, or when families begin feeling financial pressure, it is natural for people to look for someone to blame. But I think that is where we have to be very, very careful. I have noticed that in politics sometimes ago. Politics sometimes encourage people to believe that one group is responsible for another group's problem, whether it is Democrats blaming Republicans or Republicans blaming Democrats, or people blaming different racial or ethnic communities. That kind of thinking rarely solves anything. So in this case, if a MAGA supporters blame Americans for their struggles, I think they were asking the wrong question. The better question is, what is actually causing the problem? Because when you really look at it, the economic doesn't care what race you are. Inflation normally affects everyone. High grocery price affects everyone. Expensive housing affects everyone. Small businesses closing affect everyone. So those challenges doesn't stop at race or political party. So here is a question. Do you think Americans spend too much time blaming each other instead of focusing on real solution? Let me know that in the comment section below. Personally, I believe ordinary Americans have much more in common than politicians sometimes admit. Most people want the same basic things. They want a stable jobs, a safe neighborhood, affordable food, good schools, the chance to give their children a better future. So, same thing goes to black American. They want those same things that white American want. Though Hispanic American want that, white American want that, and black American want those things. So the goals are often the same, even if people disagree on how to achieve them. That is why I think blaming an entire community is both unfair and unhelpful. It distracts from the real issues. Instead of asking why one group is succeeding or struggling, maybe we should ask why so many working families, regardless of race, are finding life more expensive than ever. So in my own opinion, I think politicians should spend less time encouraging division and more time solving problems. They should create a better jobs. They should support small scale business. They should lower the cost of living and improve education. They should try to strengthen local communities. I think those are the kind of policies that help everyone. I also think people should be willing to listen to perspectives they disagree with. Sometimes the people we disagree with see problems that we don't see. Listening doesn't mean you have to agree, but at least you have to listen. It simply means you are willing to understand another point of view before reaching a conclusion. So at the end of the day, I don't believe America's biggest challenge is one race versus another. I think it is whether Americans can stop fighting each other long enough to focus on the problem affecting everyone. Because while ordinary people argue with each other, rising prices, economic uncertainty, and financial pressure continue to affect families across the country. That is the reason why, in my own opinion, I think blaming each other won't move American forward. I think working together might. So either black American or white American or anyone have to join hands together to support the ongoing American crisis. So here's the final question. When time gets hard, should America keep blaming one another, or is it finally time to focus on solving the problem that affect every family, regardless of race or political party? I would love to hear the opinion in the comment section below.